Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next one comes from 5-Star Audio. And they write, "Hi there, thanks for creating this very informative video. Quick question. I have an MX-1 and a TB-3, but due to my cramped quarters, I don't have enough power jacks and would like the TB-3 to connect to the bus powered USB 3 port. But I've tried and it doesn't work. Is this how it is for you also?" Very interesting point. So just to recap, on the MX-1 there are 4 USB ports on the back of it, but USB port 3 is the only one that actually has a power supply behind it. And it was kind of intended to be used with the TB-3 actually. If you go back and look at the very early videos, it was the TB-3 that was the unit they used to plug into port 3. So in my answer, again, before I go any further, this was in how to connect the Roland RO instruments via USB to the MX-1 video I did in August 2019. So I should say at this point, as I just said, the USB, the TB-3 from the Roland MX-1 over USB is perfectly possible. But it's only possible to run one device across USB and have it powered. So you can only have one device plugged into it. You can't sort of try and tap the power for multiple devices. It's just not, there's not enough power being supplied by the unit to make that happen. So that's kind of it. The other ports act as are all unpowered, so you have to power the unit separately on the other ports. I had the TB-3 at home when I wrote this, so I tested it in the workshop just to check that other RE and boutique equipment claims to be capable of being powered that way, but you have to be careful on the power draw. The MX-1 is capable of safely delivering. So if you look at the MX-1, it delivers, I can't remember what it is now, but it delivers something like 1,000 milliamps or 1 amp, but it needs about 500 of those. So anything you power off the USB port effectively can only be a maximum of 500 milliamps, if that makes any sense. Anyway, there is a video of working on my Instagram account, The Music Tech Guy. So at the point I published this, I also published a video of it working, just to prove it did. Anyway, 5-Star Studio writes back and says, "Thanks very much for taking time to look into this. Very strange, and I've told multiple times with no success at all. I even removed the TR8S from the USB host port 1 just in case, and the same, no power. I also put it in the same mode as you, NI high, and still no go. The TB-3 is almost brand new. I purchased it in July this year. The MX-1 I've had for around 3 years with no issues at all with either unit. Any ideas? Thanks again so much for your time." And I think at that point I was scratching my head. And I suppose we guessed to find out whether Roland have removed the ability to power the TB-3 from the USB. And I don't think they have, because obviously mine's working. Have you tried using a standard 1 amp USB charger to power a unit and seeing if this will power for the TB-3? The next silly question is, have you tried changing cables? And this is something that catches so many people out, in that not all USB cables are the same. Different manufacturers and different places in the world make USB cables to different standards. If you buy a USB cable from Roland, it will cost you an arm and a leg for a USB cable, and you'll say, that's really expensive and I'm not paying that. But here's the reality check. right? If you buy it from Roland, I guarantee it will work. If you buy it from an Amazon bucket shop from the Far East, then it possibly might not work. And it's because of the way the wiring in the USB cable is done. Some USB cables are literally just data transfer cables, and the power circuitry has not been wired correctly. And other USB cables give you full service. So just beware of that. And that's the reason why I said, have you tried changing cables? Because if you power it from a 1 amp, if you power something as USB power from a 1 amp socket, like a phone charger for argument's sake, if the cable you're using won't give power to the device, then that cable is purely a data cable, not a proper USB cable carrying power. If it powers the device, then you know the cable is good. Anyway, they write back and said, hi, thanks for the video link, very interesting. While the MX-1 is a wonderful machine, in its current state, it would be great if Roland updated the firmware to a more modern standard or released an MX-1 Mark II. Hallelujah! Yes, I would hope that Roland would release an MX-1 Mark II to allow you to plug all the USB equipment that they've been pushing out to the market in terms of boutiques into one damn mixer. Ran over. I'm finding its use becoming more and more limited as time goes by. I have an Akai MPC-1 and would like to use the MX-1 with the MPC-1 as an audio interface, but it doesn't work on the MX-1. Doesn't support USB cast compliancy. Yeah, hallelujah on another one. Roland, please make your devices class compliant. I have a similar issue with Native Instruments Machine Jam, which is a live performance controller for Machine, but it can also be used as a Surface or controller within Ableton. Since Ableton 11 was released, Native Instruments hasn't updated the script that enables the feature to so I can no longer use NI Jam with Ableton 11. Hi, it would be great if these companies supported these devices for the long term. Yeah, but where's the revenue in that? Cynical, I know. Then he wrote back and said, hi John, you're absolutely correct. It was the cable. This is what I mean. Switching it out, and I'm now able to run the TB-3 using the powered bus MX on port 3 on the MX-1. So it just proves what I was saying about the data bus, the data cable and the bus. Basically, I agree with all these comments about how Roland need to improve the MX-1 and how manufacturers need to support these instruments for the longer term. The problem is you buy an instrument and software gets upgraded and the instrument stops working, and I think that is so wrong. I really do think that's so wrong. You invested in their instrument, and yet all of a sudden they stop support for it. Yes, I know there's arguments about how long do you carry on this support, etc., etc. But if you want people to carry on buying your instruments, well, maybe you do want people to carry on buying your instruments. Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe I'm seeing it completely wrong. Maybe the whole idea is that stop supporting the old instruments to force them to buy your new instruments. Hey ho, what do I know?